Hey, if you are thinking about moving to Loveland, Colorado, you need to stop right here because there are some serious things that you need to know before packing up your bags and making the move. Now, a lot of people move here thinking that it's going to be this perfect Colorado dream, and then boom, reality hits because they didn't do the proper research. So before you end up regretting it, let's break down the 7 things that you need to know before moving to Loveland, Colorado. And you're gonna wanna stick around till the end because number 7 is one that always catches people off guard. Let's get into it. And let's start with number 1, and this is absolutely no joke, and that is the weather. Now, the weather here is absolutely beautiful, but it is 100% unpredictable. I always joke around like the weather is like a bag of Skittles because you never know quite what you're gonna get. And yes, you get beautiful blue skies and sunshine 300 days of year in Loveland, Colorado, which is fantastic. But when the winter hits, you absolutely need to be ready for it. And it's not just being ready for the snow and the occasional ice and the colder temperatures. It's that one day it will literally be 65 degrees and sunny, which was yesterday, but 3 days before that, we had 6 inches of snow. And it's really something that takes a little bit of getting used to, having to put on your winter coat, your snow boots, going out and shoveling 6 to 8 inches of snow. You're mentally prepared for long winter days, and then out comes the sun, melts all the snow away, and it's beautiful again. Now you need to be prepared for it because it's going to take some getting used to because you are going to need a winter coat, a winter jacket, and a sweatshirt, and possibly a t-shirt all within the winter months. Now, if you're moving here from California, Texas, or Arizona, you are absolutely in for a treat because you can literally experience the all-weather conditions within a 24-hour time period due to the unpredictable weather. Now, I help a lot of people relocate from these areas, and unwaveringly, they enjoy the change of weather, the change of seasons, the change of temperature, because it's a little bit different than the constant oppressive heat they experience in these different areas. But if you're one of those people who enjoy consistent weather on a daily basis, Colorado is not going to be the place for you. What's up, beautiful people? My name is Noah, and welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. I am your Northern Colorado real estate and lifestyle expert. My cell number is going to pop up right here, 720-741-7474. Use me as much as you possibly can. I'm the only one who answers all of the questions and text messages from viewers just like you. Now, the second thing you need to know about before relocating to Loveland is the cost of living is rising fast. Now, people used to move to Loveland because it was more affordable than Denver. But guess what? The gap is actually closing quite fast. Home prices have skyrocketed in the last few years. With your standard 3 to 4 bedroom home, you're looking at spending between $500,000 and $550,000. Now, having said this, the quality of life and sense of community in Loveland is going to be significantly better than Denver, unless you like homeless, traffic, and high crime rates. And let's say you plan to rent. Well, you're not safe either because prices of rentals have increased due to the high amount of demand. Now, Loveland is still light years more affordable than Boulder, but barely cheaper than Fort Collins and Denver. And if you're moving here thinking that you're going to get a bargain, you better think again. What you are getting is a stronger sense of community, closer proximity to the mountains, a cleaner city, and for the same amount of money, you're going to be able to purchase a nicer home. Now, let's jump into the third thing that you need to know is that over the last 5 years, Loveland has experienced a large population growth. Now, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, the city's population is 76,378 in 2020, but by July 2023, that number was 80,000. Now, this reflects a growth rate of approximately 3.9% during that period. And this is significantly slower than the growth between 2010 and 2020, as the city saw a significant population increase of 14.2%. And as Loveland continues to grow, more people equals more cars, and more cars equal more traffic. So let's hop into a map so I can show you where the bottlenecks are, because traffic is becoming an issue. All right, so as we take a look at this map, a couple of things here. First and foremost, one of the roads that you are absolutely going to want to know is I-25, that basically runs the whole entire Northern Colorado economic corridor. Now, that is going to get you to Denver and Fort Collins. That is going to get you everywhere you need to go in Colorado. And guess what? For all the rest of the towns, Longmont, Berthoud, Loveland, Erie, Firestone, Frederick, Johnstown, all of those surrounding towns are going to use the same I-25 in order to get to Denver or to get around, which specifically means that at 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning, that road is going to be packed because everybody that is commuting is going to be out on the roads during that time. Now, if we talk about Loveland specifically, let's zoom in here to Loveland because there is another couple of bottlenecks that you're going to notice in Loveland. Number one is going to be I-25, and the second one only happens during the spring, summer, and fall season when the Rocky Mountain National Park is open, because Loveland is one of the doorways to Rocky Mountain National Park. So as you can see from 25, Highway 35 literally splits Loveland in half. So you are going to have increased traffic on US 34 that cuts Loveland west and east. One of the other roadways you need to pay attention to if you're looking at Loveland and want to stay out of the traffic is you are going to look at 287, which runs north and south just parallel to I-25, except for it goes right through town. So if you're in town and you don't want to get on I-25, which a lot of people who live locally try to stay away from, you're going to be on 287. Now, 287 has had a lot of construction, and the infrastructure that Berthoud, Longmont, and Loveland are building are going to start alleviating some of these traffic issues. But if you absolutely cannot stand traffic, doesn't mean Northern Colorado is not for you. It just means that you might want to look into smaller towns like Berthoud, Firestone, Frederick, and Johnstown. Now, the fourth thing that you need to know is that the job market in Loveland is actually a little limited. Unless you work remotely, you work in healthcare, education, or manufacturing, the job opportunities might be a little bit smaller in town, but lucky for you, getting to Boulder, Denver, Fort Collins, or commuting anywhere, it's not a lot of distance, although during those times of day, you're gonna spend a little bit more time sitting in traffic. Now, this has not bothered me at all, as it's just an extra 5 to 7 minutes, and I get to listen to some good music and stare at the beautiful Rocky Mountains. Now, Loveland is growing, and as part of that, there are new businesses moving into Loveland on almost a weekly basis. Now, in June of 2024, Hansel Phelps announced plans to relocate its global headquarters right here to Loveland, Colorado. Now, this 100,000 square foot facility is estimated to cost $69 million and be completed by mid-2027. And it is also going to bring in over 400 jobs to this community. Now, one of the key tips that I want to tell you is that if you're worried about commute times or what traffic looks like or how it's going to impact you, honestly, it has never really impacted me negatively, but you want to do your homework. So rather than Googling from your job to a neighborhood or to a house that you'd like, do that during the times of day you're going to be traveling, because that time is going to be extended by just a few minutes, but it's something that you definitely need to know. Now let's switch over from talking about jobs to talking about the fifth thing you need to know about Loveland, which is there is absolutely no nightlife. Now, if you're moving here for peace and quiet, to be closer to the nature and the Rocky Mountains, or join a thriving community, you're absolutely going to love it. But if you're expecting an exciting nightlife, you are going to be disappointed. There are no dance clubs, no rooftop bars playing with DJs playing thumping music. Loveland is a chill spot, with most breweries and restaurants closing by 10. Now, of course, you are gonna find the occasional watering hole open till 2 a.m., but if you want big city energy, you are going to have to be driving to Denver or Fort Collins. So if you're the type of person who loves late night action, Loveland might feel a little bit boring. But if you're like me and you have a family and you want to be to bed by 10 p.m., Loveland is absolutely outstanding. And you don't feel like you're missing out on anything because of all the breweries, distilleries, restaurants, and things to do and see with you and your family. And to be honest with you, it's just an easier way of life. Now let's move on to the sixth thing you need to know about Loveland. And if you're planning on purchasing a home, odds are that it will have an HOA. Now I know when I said that, some of your skins crawled and some of you are like, what the heck is an HOA? Now not all HOAs are bad. As a matter of fact, the main purpose for the HOA is to maintain your property values by ensuring that your home and common areas are well kept, and this just helps the neighborhood be cohesive and obviously help keep your home value high. Now you're not going to find HOAs in every neighborhood. Now HOAs are typically in planned neighborhoods, condos, and townhomes, but the prevalence of HOAs coming up in these new master plan communities, every single new community I have shown over the last 2 years has had an HOA. Now while HOAs keep neighborhoods clean and organized, some homeowners find them absolutely too restrictive, or they don't want to pay any of the fees associated with it. Now I have had several clients and people just like you who call me up and say, Noah, we're looking for a home, but we will absolutely not purchase a home that's in an HOA. And guess what they buy? A home in an HOA. Now this comes down to one thing, and that is people being comfortable with the HOA's covenants, conditions, and restrictions, otherwise known as CCRs. Now here in the state of Colorado, any buyer has the right to review and approve any of the HOA documents, including CRCs. Now this is done in our contract in section 7.4. And to help you feel a little bit more comfortable about it, let's dive in and take a look. Now 7.4 states this: conditional on buyer's review. Buyer has the right to review the association documents. Buyer has the right to terminate under section 24.1 on or before the association documents termination deadline, based on unsatisfactory provisions in any of the association documents in buyer's sole subjective discretion. So this offers you 100% protection that if you go under contract on a house and you review the HOA documents and there is something in there that you do not like based on your sole subject discretion, you can terminate the contract and get your earnest money back. There is absolutely nothing the seller can do. Now, having said this, I've had people go through this process many times, and one of the recent ones was this. We got the property under contract, we got the HOA documents, and in review of the HOA documents, the HOA stated that you could only have one recreational vehicle parked at the property. Now, for most people, that's not going to be a problem. But for this particular buyer, he had a side-by-side, a camper, four-wheelers, and a boat. So if he were to go through with the purchase of this property, he would have to store his recreational vehicles, something else, and obviously that's just not going to work out for him. So don't let HOAs scare you or the thought of them scare you, because you are going to be able to review every single one of the documents and terminate if there's anything in there that you just don't like. Now, it's important to note that not all neighborhoods in Loveland have an HOA, but all the new neighborhoods, new construction, and master plan communities most certainly will. So if you're one of those people who are like, absolutely not, I like to have 5 dogs and I like to park my junk cars out in the street and in my front yard, you're not going to want an HOA. And if that's you, what you do is you just shoot me a text right here and I will literally be able to remove all of the listings that have an HOA, so you're only looking at properties that don't. Now, if you remember at the beginning of the video, I said you're going to want to stick around till number 7, and here we are talking about the impact that the tourist season has on the town. And this one, absolutely, I was 100% unprepared for, but at the end of the day, it really didn't make that big of a difference. Now, when talking about the traffic, we did take a look at the map earlier, and as you know, Loveland is one of the doorways to the Rocky Mountain National Park, which is one of the most visited national parks in the United States, with 4 million people visiting each year. What? Now, obviously, this is absolutely fantastic for the economy, as it brings in a lot of money through the town because people stop at restaurants, bars, they pick up little trinkets at the stores, but it is also going to mean that the lines at the restaurants are going to be a little bit longer, and popular hiking trails are going to have a little bit more traffic than you might want. But here's the strange thing, is I have not noticed this at all, as this is the way life has always been since we've relocated here. So yes, I want to bring up the traffic. Yes, I want to talk about the tourism. Yes, I want to talk about those things. But the impact that it has had on my life and other people's lives has been minimal at best. All right, I just hit you with the raw dose of reality of Loveland. But here's the thing, it's still an absolutely amazing place to live. You just need to know exactly what you're getting into. And if you want beautiful mountain views, a strong sense of community, a beautiful town, access to unlimited outdoor adventure, you are absolutely going to love it. But on the other side of that, if you can't stand unpredictable weather, increasing housing prices, or a little bit of traffic, this might not be the place for you. But listen, you don't need to figure this out alone. All you have to do is shoot me a text or phone call at 720-741-7474, and let's talk about whether Loveland is the right move for you. There's no pressure, just real conversation and advice from somebody who's already been through it. And if you want to learn more and see more about Loveland, you need to go check out this video right here where I uncover all of Loveland's hidden gems. And remember, stay adventurous, my friends. I'll see you on the next video.